Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to the Christopher Mark Show. So today I have the privilege of being in front of a amazing, multi-talented, inspirational, uplifting person. Michael, can you tell everybody your full name and what do you do?
My name is Michael Webb. I am the owner of Philanthropist Barber and founder of Community Haircuts, and also the Pennsylvania ambassador of Buzz It Forward. So those are the gist. Hi, bro. Yep, take it easy. Uh, with Community Haircuts, the focus is the seniors, taking this hair care service out of the barbershop and focusing on getting it to those communities that have a hindrance of mobility, mainly the seniors. Buzz It Forward, our ambition and passion is to spread this uplifting feeling of a free haircut, of a sponsored haircut to the youth of America, starting with our hometown. So the idea is you look better, you feel better, you do better. And with Buzz It Forward, they are home based out of Jersey City. So with me being the Pennsylvania ambassador, my goal and my ambition is to now get this program and bring it here to my hometown in Phoenixville and further extend this to Philadelphia, and all the way up to where my, I guess, the services have gone so far, which is Boyertown. Not just stopping there though, because I live in Jersey, so literally all over this area of sponsoring these haircuts for the youth and then the seniors.
Y'all see this? Y'all see the beauty this man is doing? He's uplifting people and inspiring people and helping the community is amazing. I love it. So Michael, let me ask you a question. Like, what got you started with this? Like, when did this journey begin? Where you were like, this is what I want to do career wise. How did this all start?
I would say the journey of cutting hair. I wanted a fresh haircut. I just always wanted to look fresh since I was like 12, 13. My dad was taking too long one day to cut my hair. So, and he's not a barber. He just was a dad, a jack of all trades. So I grabbed the clippers and did it myself. And I didn't do too bad of a job. And then it snowballed from there, cutting the best friend across the street. And then just that accelerated to an idea of, I guess, from home, watching my dad do body work, like as the side job. But that was it was a hobby, that was a side job. And I think that instilled not wanting to work for someone deep down inside, but you have to have jobs growing up. So while cutting hair still right out of high school, this is where I eventually graduated with my marketing and management associates. And from there now, I'm starting to see the snowball of, I guess, like the door of opportunity started to open. And again, the foundation was I don't really want to work for someone, but at a naive level, I didn't understand how I could go about that. I would say to myself, I can't see myself standing behind a chair cutting hair all day. Granted, I didn't have a barber come to me then and say, I make $30 per haircut. I cut 2 people in an hour. Now I just make $60 an hour. Mike, what are you doing at your job that you're doing right now, 16, 17 years old? That conversation would have been enough to push me into barbering then.
Right.
But God has his plans, and I believe that things happen at the time they're supposed to. So I learned a lot in my jobs before accepting the offer from my cousin to then come work here in Philly Fave. And then the goal then was to buy the shop. So those jobs that I've worked prior to stepping into an entrepreneur role, I feel like it showed me and allowed me to really stand tall on I don't want to work for anyone. So I was thinking about this the other day. I was a vocational aide for the Devereaux Foundation for 5 years, and I didn't actually work for someone then. Yeah, I was Devereaux said the name on my paychecks, but I was working for that consumer. My clients were consumers that had intellectual disabilities, so I would simulate a working environment for them. And uh, again, like every day I clock in, I'm here with you to, run this behavior support plan. So I feel like that kind of it satisfied. One, I need a job. I need to work somehow, but I don't feel like there isn't a boss over me that I gotta, ask, can I clock in? Can I go to my lunch? Um, and that was kind of instilled, I guess, my mom. She was a vocational aide. She worked at the state school, so I seen again the morale, that boost that you get from like helping others. So
Yeah.
I think that's what instilled, to answer your question. Those prior jobs of being able to help people, and now I'm already cutting hair. I don't lose anything from, doing the community haircuts that I do for like a Good Samaritan or Orion community. It's just my time. Yes, your time is valuable, but now it's on you to find the value in giving that free haircut for how valuable that may be for someone else. That's 20 minutes of my time, but this dude just got out the chair and gave me a hug so tight that I felt the stubble on his face on my face. Oh man, I didn't expect you to really get that much from this free haircut. But
Yeah.
again, speaking to finding where that value is. So yeah, hope I answered it.
No, you did, and I think that's the thing where you, well, I think when you give so much, to people, and you're doing it in a way where you're like, okay, I'm trying to provide this service. You have your own problems, you have your own issues you're dealing with, and then once you actually give that to someone, and you see their appreciation, that's when like, you know what, I'm on to something here. I felt the same way when I was doing. I did massage for like 17 years. So when you're, you know, doing that for a long time, and you just feel like, okay, well, let me just give this massage, but you don't realize that it's actually having an impact in people's lives. And
Yeah.
so it's amazing what you do, man. So let me ask you this, like, how do you balance doing all the things that you do, like, your the Philly fades, the stuff you do for the community? How do you balance that with your personal life? Like, how does that work?
For me, it has really been uh, sharpening the saw. One of the things that I got that I really resonated with was when I listened to, I think it was Robert Covey, Stephen Covey, Robert Covey. I think Stephen. Robert's the son. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Because I did struggle. I had my thought process of how I went about, or how I wanted to go about balancing, but to hear him talk about it and really validate something that I was dabbling in, even subconsciously, was nice. And this sharpening the saw is just making sure that there's always something that you're giving back to yourself that effectively keeps your saw sharp. So you're not just sawing away at a tree for days upon time because your saw is dull. Take some time, stop, sharpen it, and then go back to work. Like you've never been too busy driving to stop for gas. So the ability to be aware that I enjoy playing basketball. Not so much for myself, yes, for myself, but for my 6-year-old.
Mhm.
Uh, Seeing how much she enjoys playing basketball makes me want to do all that I can to make her even more enthusiastic and give her a reference of, see, you see, Daddy did this. This is why I did that. Uh, so that it kind of re-energizes me because I get to spend time with her. But also, I'm giving back to myself because I'm more physically active. Speaking to the physical aspect, but then the other is now these books. I do a lot of driving. I live in South Jersey, uh, but then my barbershop is in Phoenixville. That's 70 miles between
Yeah,
the
that's
two.
nice.
So with traffic, if I leave here at 6 o'clock at night, peak traffic, it could be an hour and 40 minutes before I get home. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of books that I've divulged over the last, I would say, 3 years, that helped me balance. Just off the top, my favorites, um, Your Next Five Moves by Patrick Bet David. Listening to that for the second time. Atomic Habits by James Clear.
hmm,
Rich Dad Poor Dad is always like that's a staple.
right.
Um, and Developing the Leader 2.0 by John C. Maxwell. Foundational though, the secret. So anybody watching this, uh, definitely like that. And if anything, start with that. Don't
Yeah,
forget everything else I said, but just start by watching that documentary, and then it really fuels you. Listen to the book. Um, but yes, that and having the ability to understand that you do have a lot to do with the outcome and your circumstances. Like things aren't just circumstantial in life. 'Cause we've all thought of someone randomly, and then that person texts us, or we see them randomly at the store. Like that's not a coincidence. For
yeah,
everyone to hear me say that and then agree, what is the coincidence that we all have that? No, that just proves that it is that. You're just not aware of how much influence you had on omitting a frequency out to the universe, and now it reciprocates in circumstantial ways that now this person calls you. Now imagine if you can control that. If you can be very strategic in planting a seed, speaking it into existence, but then also being aware of the negative things that come in your mind, because we're humans, you naturally think of the negative ways that things could happen. But just like you can think of those things, you can think of the positive ways also. It's a 50-50. Stuff can be bad, stuff can be good. But the
yeah,
one thing you are always in control of is how you process it, how it makes you feel. If it makes you feel bad or sad, be aware of that. Change it to something that you're grateful for, positive. Whatever it is, it helps out. Again, James Clear, 1%. If you would just focus on the 1% increase more towards the positive side, by default, things have to get better.
that's very powerful that you say that. It's because like people struggle with that
Mm-hmm.
positivity mindset, and because the shift is, they how do I put it? Like people want so much control,
Yeah.
and their need for control, they equate it to their self value. So if I'm not in control, I don't have value. And so most times people are struggling with that on a consistent basis because they're just is that back and forth, that friction within themselves. And so, transitioning to a positive mindset, it seems like, oh, this is a fairy tale. This isn't real, right? But it's very, very powerful. Like your energy is very, very powerful. And you have to, even if you feel your weaknesses or you feel the areas in where you may be inadequate, you have to surround yourself with people who are going to balance out those weaknesses,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because how else are you going to continue to move forward? It's like we're all linked together. That's the thing. And most people don't really want to look at that. They want to look at it like, oh, you know what? I got this because, I can lead my life. I can do this and do that. I don't need any help. But you do. You do need help, because, and you might need it in an area where you feel like this is not that big of a deal. Or you might desire outcomes that are just bigger than you. And you might need to have people just give to you. And you might be like, I don't deserve all this.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I tell this to people all the time. Everything you receive in life is not for you. you're holding blessings for other people.
Definitely.
And that's the thing that you have to keep in mind. Like, so when you have all these things given to you, just keep in mind it ain't all for you. If you don't figure out a way to give it back, it's going to be taken from you, because that's how life works. So you have to
Yeah,
understand that, like, the balance has to be maintained no matter what.
for
And
sure.
once you accept it, you're good.
Yep.
But
Yep. That
yeah,
that
man.
also answers part of your question. I didn't think of saying that, but your balance of how do you stay balanced? Always be receptive.
Yeah.
Always. The young kids, anyone younger than me, especially coming out of high school, I always tell them, if you can accept the phrase "I don't know" and release the ego associated with relinquishing that to somebody, you learn. It's clear as day, but it is tough to actually hear it and compartmentalize. You can learn more when you say that, and having ego blocks a lot of growth,
It
sadly.
does.
So being receptive and relieving my ego allowed my mentors. Um, man, I feel like I have a dream team of mentors that do different things, and they come from different backgrounds. Some of them are directly associated with my industry. Well, one is, and the other four are not, or they're indirectly related. So the
Right.
ability to now be receptive to them when I tell them this is an idea that I want to do, and I just thought of everything, and this is exactly what I want to do. Hey, Mike, did you think of this? No, I didn't. Oh, okay. Well, when you decided to, reach out to this person and do this, did you do, X, Y, and Z? Now I have to sit there with the egg on my face look, and I have to swallow the pride of saying, no, I didn't know I even had to do that. How do I go about doing that? Okay, this, and this. Like, in order to get somewhere where you're not at, it helps to be able to listen to someone tell you where the potholes are. But it may hurt your pride because we all feel like we're right, and we all don't
No,
like to be
yeah.
told that we're wrong.
It's funny you say that. Like, I remember I tell this to my nephew all the time. So when he first um, started going to college, he was like, you know, I'm smart. I know how to read, write. I know math. You know what I mean? So he's like, I'm good. And I said, listen, I said, I'm going to help you to lower your self-esteem. And he was just like, what do you mean? I was like, because if you don't lower your self-esteem, you're not going to be in a position to let things happen for you. And that's really, you're blocking yourself. You're hitting yourself against the wall unnecessarily. And so what I told him, I said, like, I want you to remember you don't know anything. You know nothing. And he was just like, but I do know stuff. I was like, no, you know absolutely nothing. And I said, if you admit that you'll never know, you will always know. And so when he applied it, in the beginning, he wasn't really doing too well in school because he had that mindset. Then later on, he actually applied it, and he started getting A's in school. And he was like, man, it really works. I was surprised. I was like, because that's how energy works. Once you
Yeah.
accept that, things will work for you.
Yeah.
No one's your enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it depends on how you see it,
For sure.
So, Michael, tell me a little bit about what you guys have going on with the, I guess, the things that you're doing, giving back to the community, and how you guys are helping, doing the haircuts for the kids and things like that. And I saw the video you sent me last night, man. Everything was amazing. I was like, this dude is just like the man. Like, he is just like, listen, I'm trying to uplift. I don't care if I gotta go far from over here to over here. I'm making it happen. So, tell me, like, the inspiration behind that. How did you connect with them? How did it all work out?
So I love the quote, if you just get in the hallway of entrepreneurship, doors will open. You'll find random doors and start opening them and didn't even know you were supposed to be here. I first started the community haircuts, and with the help of a mentor of mine, Russell Martin. Shout out my guy Russell. He helped me realize what was right in front of my face this entire time. He said, what are your top three priorities for your business? It was to have the barbershop self-sufficient, and then to attain contractual obligations out of the barbershop. And then he just stopped me there. The third one wasn't even necessary, because at the time I was looking for a second location to purchase, because I had closed Philly Phase 2. It was open for 3 months down on South Street in Philly, and that was a collaborative effort. So when I split with that partner, I thought I wanted to continue a second location. Since I legally have a second location, I just now need the other half, which is the physical. So as I'm consulting with Russell about finding a location, he just stopped and said, well, hold on, what's important to you? So now I start focusing, I shift my attention and energy over to focusing on contractual obligations. And now that speaking to the secret and allowing people that we have in our circle carry our mission and ambition with them. Him knowing my goal, he just so happened to be on a tour at a facility, a senior living facility for his aunt. They passed the salon that was vacant, and naturally he asked why. They said that consistency was an issue. He said that his barber does work like this, and I assure you that consistency wouldn't be an issue. So there's my first contractual obligation, like D-Wade alley-oop to me. And from there I was able to keep the snowball rolling through networking. Favorite quote of mine, my guy Jay Majors in the barber industry: if you're not networking, then you're not working. I had a client of mine who at the time was the marketing director for an insurance company. My guy Mike Bully asked me if I was interested in doing senior events outside of the barbershop and outside of senior facilities. So now I'm doing these senior events at dedicated medical centers, 5 different locations throughout Philly, with Oak Street Health Insurance Company, and then even some individual insurance sponsored events at the public housing authorities throughout Philly. And as I'm doing these, I'm speaking with directors, and I'm dressed to speak to directors, even though I'm cutting hair. So this is more of a business encounter than me just coming in the barbershop in my sneakers and my t-shirt. So I didn't feel like my bag and the case that I had, which at the time, well, still is the most popular on the market, as far as ways to transport all of what I deemed necessary, my essentials to perform a job, more than just 2-3 haircuts outside of the barbershop. So couldn't find it. So here I am trying to solve a pain point for myself and finding a case. Couldn't find it. So next move is I'll just make it myself. So I emailed everyone. If you just Google custom luggage cases, I emailed the first like 25 people. The only person or team that did get back to me was Platt Luggage, based out of Chicago. They are the #1 luggage manufacturers in the United States. They've been doing custom cases since 1921. So this was not only right up their alley, but it was the first barber case that they had. So they were eager to create it with me. So up rises my Philly Phase Chop Shop, mobile barber station. Has all the essentials that I needed, that I felt I needed to perform this service professionally out in the field. So I'm showing up at these events. The people are loving it. They're asking, where is it and all of this. Where can I buy it? Oh, I made this. You did? So now I'm thinking to myself, well, if they like it, barbers would like it. So I showed some barbers. They liked it. Now I'm feeling like I could sell this. So I plan to go to the biggest international barber expo up in Connecticut, held every year. This is, again, earlier I brought up Jay Majors. He's the founder of it. And my idea, naively, again, I learned a lot as I'm going along, but correction and being aware, open to correction is necessary. I'm talking to Will Goldsboro, another mentor of mine. Um, he tells me how I need to protect myself more. Don't go up there. Don't show this case, even if it is pending. Someone can take the idea, do it faster than you. Well, I'm already obligated to go up there, so I have to pivot here. Pivoting is very, very important in just entrepreneurship. So now I land on, well, if I use my skills that I have with the Culture Talk Show, um, I'm the co-CEO and program director of the Culture Talk Show. This airs on iHeartRadio every Saturday at 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Shout out Bashir Ho, who's the CEO and host. I figure I can use those skills to now interview barbers up here and build that foundational rapport. So when I do sell the case, I already have some ambassadors. I have some people that I connected with, and it's not a cold call when I reach back out to become an ambassador. So in doing this, I connect with my guy, Mr. Hollywood. Mr. Hollywood is a barber cutting out of Lansdale. One of my, he's like top tier ambassador for the Chop Shop. He connects me with Buzz It Forward, so he gets invited to a Buzz It Forward buzzathon because he's already known for being engaged in his community, and that's what Buzz It Forward seeks out: barbers that are already engaged, so they can empower them to do it on a larger scale. Hollywood knows that I'm engaged in the community and I do interviews type of content. So, hey, Mike, you should come up here, meet Amir. And also, while I was talking to Amir, call back to The Secret and Rhonda Burns, things have purpose and just happen at the speed that you're not aware to. What are the chances that now Hollywood tells me that he was speaking to Amir and telling him that, oh yeah, I'm an ambassador for this mobile barber station. It's called the Chop Shop. And now Amir stops him and says, well, what you mean? It's called the Chop Shop? Oh yeah, it's a barber case. He says, yo, I had a barber shop in Florida for 10 years. And you know what it was called? The Chop Shop. Mind you, Amir doesn't know me from a can of paint in this time frame. So now there's already some gears turning of like, who is this guy? He's rocking my name and no hate, just very inquisitive. So fast forward, I go up there, interview Amir, and we hit it off. Really good synergy. Now I start working with them through doing some videography work and also cutting hair. So not only am I a barber for them during this time period, cutting hair at these events, but I do a few recap videos for them. Directing, and then also the actual videography work. I don't do editing. But I got a fire editor. Shout out my guy, Enrique. So the ability to kill two birds with one stone for Amir, because everything is about value in life. And there are things that are more important than money, especially than that short-term dollar. Because there has been opportunities, side note, where I could have asked Amir for money for doing a service, but then because I bit my tongue and I'm like, you know what, I'd rather be that guy that he can call on, that he knows Mike got me, versus saying, hey, I need some money for this time frame. And then because I did hold my mouth shut, he then blessed me with, hey, because you did that and blah blah blah, I'll take care of you. Happened too many times, but that's just a small example for anybody thinking short-term dollar over more value, but I digress. Now I'm with Buzz It Forward, and I see the mission here. Amir being home based in Jersey City, and having a contract with the National Guard for the Northeast region, but also Florida, only accepting Florida because he had the past relationship there with his barbershop. formerly starting in Florida. With me being home based here in Pennsylvania, I now feel in the last year I feel very validated in being able to expand this BuzzBox program for the individual side of the one-time events. So
Mm.
you have your 4 to 8 hour haircut events that are sponsored. Um, Anywhere from one barber to 6 barbers. It depends on what the sponsorship and the facility would like. And these are not a cookie cut type of event. If we want to do, for example, we've had archery going on during the haircuts, and we've had a poker tournament going on during the haircuts. So my
That's cool.
ambition is to do a 3-point contest here in Phoenixville, right at the park. Maybe a dunk contest, and while the haircuts are going on. Um, Hosting a large one in Fairmount Park in Philly, where there's a stage, there's people that can, anything from spoken word to showcasing your latest music, down to having resources of whatever it is. So the ability to start from providing haircuts, because that ultimately makes people feel better. It gives them more energy, and then build out from there. Something that I saw I could really bring to Buzz It Forward and start here, PA. So the youth, though, you have your BuzzBox program. That's the highlight here. This is a sponsored program for a year that sponsors a barber to go to this facility, whether it's a Boys and Girls Club, a YMCA, or any youth facility. And the barber is paid to go there once a week, cut hair, and the room is erected by Buzz It Forward. Will cater to the specifications of what we have to work with. The room is designed as a game room, so it's like a teen lounge. Also, you have your books on the wall, you have your couch, your TV, game system. And this is a room where you have 6 other days that the facility now can utilize this. Whether we would like to do some form of third-party contractual workshop, where now we have the ability to teach some form of entrepreneurship on one day, and then a haircut, like actual haircuts for the kids. The other days, or the facility would like to utilize this as a barbershop, during the week. Maybe call that same barber in and have them do haircuts. And now, beyond that, now that conversation is in the facility as far as rent and everything. But it just starts with, James Clear, again, 1%. Just giving that 1% of positivity and increase towards the ultimate goal of empowering.
That's man, that's amazing. Like that's such a powerful thing to be able to, one, connect with the right person, right? And then being able to let that affect everything else you were trying to do, and then have it all kind of come together so that it can benefit and support the community. And not only that, but support like other barbers as well, because now it's like it gives them an opportunity to do what they do, like look for that. They look like, okay, you can make money, but the main thing is like, are you actually making an impact? That's the power of what it is. Like, are you making an impact? So I think that that's amazing, man. That's. I mean, I'm really, really happy for you, because it's not easy to make that mental shift to, okay, let me get money from this person, get money from that person, and get money from this person and that person. You're making a shift to, no, I want to build relationships, so that way you can create leveraged income.
Yes. Definitely.
And that's really what it's all about. Like you making that versus saying dollar for dollar. That's a next level of thinking. So it's really powerful what you're doing. Um,
Thanks.
so, Michael, if you had to tell people, like, give them something, they're walking your path, right? They're trying to get started with what with what they're doing, something similar, right? What would you tell them to keep them motivated?
I would tell them that when those moments of frustration and overwhelming situations set in, that it's supposed to be like that. Like, because if the mountain was smooth as you're going up, you're just gonna slide back down it. You need those tough moments, those ridges, and those craters in the side of the mountain to give you some traction to keep going up. So don't get discouraged by them. Just now learn to pivot, and by pivoting, you have to turn towards finding someone that can help you. There's always someone somewhere that's willing to. You just have to be receptive to it. So whether it's a mentor or a peer, but definitely find a mentor, find someone that's doing whatever it is that you would like to do, and learn from them. Even best if you can shadow them. That's the ultimate. If not, then at least set up a conversation if you could once a week, um, because it would benefit having some accountability, having an accountability partner, and being receptive. Those are the two biggest things. And learning, keep learning. Find books and things that are on the route of what could better you, whether it's personal, interpersonal skills, learning how to learn yourself. That's, I guess that would be a foundational point also. A lot of people think
Yeah.
you know yourself, but you don't really until you hear about people speaking about what it takes to learn yourself. So
Yeah, it takes a lot.
yeah,
it,
yeah,
it, it takes a lot of sacrifice, because you
yeah,
um, knowing yourself is like, if I had to describe it, it's like you reaching this place where you're kind of like you're stuck in like this space of nothing, but you're also in a space where you're aware of everything that's going on, and so that's the thing. Once you get to that place, and it takes a long time to get there, but once you do, people, you find comfort with you. You don't have to like
yeah,
prove yourself to anybody. You don't have to give anyone your power. You understand it. You're not here to display power. You're here to empower, and that's next level, of how to look at everything. So I like what you're saying, man. That was amazing. Like it really does impact people and just having them to learn and think. So how can people, if they were looking to connect with you, how can they find you? Be able to support not only what you do at Philly Fades, but also things that you do for the community as well. How can they, connect with you?
So a few ways of connecting with me. First is the Instagram that blossoms all of the content. So any content community haircuts related or Buzz It Forward related would definitely be funneled through my Philly Phase Chop Shop. That's the main Instagram. Um, Mike at phillyfades.com is the personal email. Um, Very active. So any type of information, additional info you wanted, definitely collaborative insight. I encourage that. Um, or just to connect. I'm always down to network. So those are your two main tips there.
Mike, I appreciate you, man. Like seriously, because I think that
Sure.
I think the things that you're doing, man, is gonna help so many people. Not just for you, but for just all the other people, you know. And yeah, just keep doing you, man. Like you're doing some
Thanks.
amazing things, and yeah, just keep doing it. But I appreciate you taking the time, to be on the show. All right,
Definitely,
and
definitely.
I hope
Appreciate
you
you having
guys
me.
enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Take it easy.